Hello and welcome to the PCI Assistant demo. Let's get started by first creating a free account. On top of the page, click on the link Sign In, Sign Up. Now click on the link Sign Up for Free link here at the bottom of the Sign In page and input your credentials. Then click Create Account. This is the dashboard. Here, you will see status of your assessments. On the left panel, click Client, then Add Client. Here, you will add your or your client's information. Click on Create Client. This will bring up the client card. Let's click New Assessment. Give the assessment a name, assessment type, description, and dates. Now click on Create Assessment. This is the free account, so you have limits. You need to subscribe to get all the features. Let's go to User Settings in the left panel at the bottom and select Billing. On top of the page, you will see Current Plan. You must upgrade to Paid to get all the features. At this point, you only have one choice, that is Client Assessment Subscription. This will convert you to a paid subscription. Just click Subscribe and it will take you to the Stripe checkout screen. Now, we are on a paid subscription account. This is the dashboard. On the left panel, you will see your company name. You will also see links to the dashboard and clients, which you can also access to the right of the dashboard. In the dashboard, you will see the number of clients, assessments, assessments in progress, and completed. Below that, you have a list of all your assessments. And to the right of that, you have your remediation tracker. This is the total remediations for all assessments. You can add a new assessment from the top right-hand corner, and you can go to your assessments from this page by clicking View on the assessment. But before we go into an assessment, let's dive into the other options in User Settings. Click on User Settings and click on Team Members. Here, you will see your team capacity. You will also see a list of users and their roles. Okay, let's go back to User Settings and click on Organization. This is the whole organization. It includes users, clients, and assessments, which you can filter out to get more granular. Okay, let's go back to User Settings and click on Services. Here is a list of services we provide. More services are on the way. Just click on the service to request a quote and get more detailed information. The request history are the services requested with their statuses. Now let's go back to User Settings and click on Billing. Here, you will see your current plan and the option to upgrade. If you need another assessment or add a user, this is where you can upgrade your subscription. You can always adjust the quantities in the Stripe billing portal and manage your subscription. Let's go back to User Settings and click Change Password. This is where you can change your password anytime. Okay, now we are going to look at an assessment. You already know that you can view the assessment by clicking on View in the assessment list, but we are going to take another route. In the left pane, click on Client. Now click on the assessment. Circus. Before we dive into the assessment, I want to go over the new sections you now see in the left pane. The first thing you notice is you see a section for ongoing maintenance. We will talk about this later. In the next section is audit workflow. This is how you will perform the assessment from the top down. We will go into each one in a bit. You see the requirement list below. Each one has a watch overview. This is an overview of that requirement. I suggest you watch it. It's short and very valuable. In the assessment screen, you see the overall assessment progress. It shows the statuses of the sub-requirements, and to the right is the compliance scorecard. Underneath the overall assessment progress, you see the boxes number 1 to 12 and A. These are the requirements, and by clicking on the box, we'll filter on that requirement. Below that is the prioritized approach for the assessment, which can also be filtered. Now, if you go to the top right-hand corner, you will see a link called Resources. These are links to the PCI Council website, card brands, the PCIA Academy, a course to get your team up to speed on PCI DSS. The support goes to our WhatsApp community, where you can get help and ask questions, and demo is this video and client portal is there for future use. If you look at the compliance score and click on heat map, this is a visual overview of all the sub-requirement statuses by requirement. Also, if you look at each of the requirement boxes, you see that are also colored by statuses. We gave you many different ways to see your assessment overview quickly and efficiently. Let's go over the audit workflow. Click on Pre-Assessment Profiling and click on Determine Your Level. These are a set of questions that you answer, and the result will give your merchant level and if you qualified for a SAQ or a ROC. Now let's select Determine Your SAQ. These are also a set of questions that help you determine your SAQ. There is also more detail section called What This Means for Your Business that will help you in this process. Now, let's take a look at Determine Your Scope. These are also another set of questions to determine if a component is in scope or not. You will need to run this for every component in question. Okay, this is it for the pre-assessment. Now, let's take a look at assessment information. This is part 1 and part 2 of the SAQ. Let's click Contact Information. This is part 1A and 1B of the SAQ questionnaire. Next is Executive Summary, part 2A through 2C. Next is Location and SSC, part 2D and 2E. Next item is Third-Party Providers, part 2F. And the last one is Summary of Assessment, part 2G. In this section, you do not fill anything out. As you do the assessment, it will auto-populate part 2G. This is just for your reference. This completes the assessment information section. The next section is self-assessment questionnaire. This is where the real work begins. This is where you will spend most of your time. Let's click on Assessment. Let's take a look at Requirement 1 and Sub-Requirement 1.1. Let's click on 1.1.1. Now you will see the testing procedures. Now, if you click Link to Guidance and Documentation, you will find the purpose, good practice, definitions, customized approach, if applicable, coming from the PCI DSS questionnaire. We also added a suggested evidence section. Now let's take a look at the compliance status. Click on the drop-down and select In Place. Since this is place, all we have to do is drop the evidence in the Evidence Attachment section. Below the evidence attachment section, you have assessor's notes. You can add notes here if necessary. And below that are other mappings to other standards or frameworks. We will be adding more standard to this list. This is here for your reference. Let's close this sub-requirement. If we move to the progress bar, you will see that we have two progress bar 1 for the requirement progress, and another overall progress. You see 1 in place and 234 to go. Let's do another sub-requirement with a different status. Let's click on 1.1.2. This one has 2 testing procedures. Here, if you click on Guidance and Documentation, you will see the same format. But in this case, since there is 2 sub-requirements, you will see the suggested evidence for both. Let's close this and click on the drop-down and choose Not Applicable. As you can see, you need to explain why is this not applicable. An explanation is required. This is important because this is filling out Appendix C for you, which you will see when we go over the appendices. Just add the reason, save it, and you are done. Let's close the sub-requirement and look at the requirement progress bar. Now look at the overall requirement progress bar. You will see that NA is now 1. Let's do another requirement with a different status. Let's go to sub-requirement 1.2. Let's open 1.2.1. Let's look at the guidance and documentation, so you see the familiar format. Okay, let's click on the drop-down and choose Compensating Control. Here you see that it opened Appendix B, Compensating Control Worksheet. So here you are actually filling out Appendix B from the questionnaire. All you need to do is just fill out the explanation column for 1.2.1. And click on Done after you filled out this worksheet. This will save it to Appendix B, Compensating Control Worksheet. You can add evidence or documents here if you need to do so, and you can also add assessor's notes. Now look at the requirement progress bar. You will see 1 for compensating control. The same for the overall progress bar. Now let's do the final compliance status not in place. Let's go back to requirement 1.2 and select 1.2.3. Go to the drop-down and select not in place. Here you will see that an explanation is required why this requirement is not in place. Let's give the explanation. This explanation is what is going to populate the remediation tracker. Make sure you identified all gaps in this sub-requirement. Now let's save it. Okay, let's take a look at the remediation tracker. On the top of the remediation tracker, you can see the statuses. You can also filter out by status, and you can export the remediation tracker. Okay, let's open 1.2.3. Here you can see the gap, the not in place text that you saved from the assessment. Now let's click on Suggest Remediation and Evidence. This will populate the corresponding boxes. It will use the gap, the not in place text from the assessment, as input for the remediation and evidence suggestions. Let's click Suggest Remediation and Evidence. The remediation action and evidence needed boxes has been populated. Let's expand the boxes. Now you have the remediation plan and the evidence needed for this sub-requirement. These are just the suggestions. Your remediation may require adjustment. Now let's look at the owner field. Here we will select the owner of this requirement. Please note that you can add a new owner. Let's select a target date. The completed on date is in view-only mode. It is populated once this remediation is marked as complete. Let's take a look at priority field next. Let's make this high. Please, when you make changes, make sure to save it on top of the page. Let's generate an email request now. In the email request has the subject and all the relevant fields from the remediations tracker, remediation plan, evidence needed, and so on. The response requested by no later than date is 3 days at the time of generating this email. So if you need to adjust, you can do so now. In the notes section, you can write your notes on this remediation so you can keep track of the remediation progress. The notes will be timestamped and by who updated it as well. Don't forget to click on Add Note. At the top of the window, you can see it is in progress. Now that we have remediation data, let's export the remediation tracker. This is what it looks like. Now let's go back to the assessment. You see that this is still not in place. Let's look at the sub-requirement details. As you can see, nothing has changed. Let's go back to the remediation tracker. Let's open 1.2.3. Let's say that we received the updated network diagram. So let me upload them to evidence. Let me add some notes here as well. Now I can mark this as complete. Now, if you look at the status, you will see completed as 1. You can now open and review the completed remediation. Now let's go back to the assessment. You will see that not in place is now 0. Okay, let's open 1.2.3 to see what happened. You will notice that it is now in place, and the evidence is also here. The first step is to go over your assessment and find and identify all of your gaps. This will populate the remediation tracker. So, for the rest of the assessment, you will spend most of your time in the remediation tracker, remediating your gaps. Before we continue, just want to let you know that there was a small update. We have changed not assessed to not tested. Now let's continue with appendices section. First, let's click on Requirement A. This is for filling out Appendix A. As you can see, A2.1.1 is in place, and A2.1.2 and A2.1.3 are not applicable. This was done during the assessment. Let's open Appendix A. So, Appendix A is automatically filled out for you. Okay, let's look at Appendix B. This is automatically filled out during the assessment. You just need to double check to make sure everything is aligned. Now let's look at Appendix C. This is also automatically filled out during the assessment. Let's close this and take a look at Appendix D, not tested. But before we look at Appendix D, let's review Requirement 4. In this assessment, we are saying the Requirement 4 is not being tested. So all sub-requirements has a status or not tested. But first, I want you to notice the assessment progress bar, which is at 97.4%, and the compliance score at 96%. I will explain how this changes with Appendix D. Let's click on Appendix D. Here you will need write the reason why you are not testing this requirement. Make sure you click on Save Progress. This is very important because this will change your progress bar and the compliance score. Now, if you look at the overall assessment progress bar, you see that is at 100%. That means that you have assessed all the requirements, and the compliance score is at 99%. That is because you still have 3 not in place items. Once you remediate those requirements, the compliance score will be 100% and you have completed your assessment. All right, let's go to the next section. Validation and attestation. That's it. Let's click on PCI DSS validation. Make sure you add the date here and just fill out the rest of the form and save the validation. Now let's click on attestation of compliance. Just fill out this form and save attestation. That is it for this section. The next section is non-compliant. Okay, let's go there and select action plan. Just fill it out if you have any non-compliant requirements. And save the action plan. Okay, let's go to the last section of the workflow. Let's click on deliverables. And now evidence download. This will download all of your evidence documents sorted by requirements and sub-requirements. Okay, let's click on evidence report. This will give a list of all the evidence documents mapped to each of the requirements. Now let's click on remediation tracker. This is the same report in the remediation tracker in the self-assessment questionnaire section. Now let's open compliance assessment. This is just a general overview of the assessment. Let's close this and open the SAQ report. This is your completed SAQ report. All you have to do now is look over it. You will see that everything has been filled out. Once you are satisfied, you can copy and paste the content to your questionnaire. Now we can fill out the AOC report. Let's click on AOC report. This is your completed AOC report. Just confirm everything is correct. And just copy it to your AOC document. Congratulations, you just completed your assessment. Actually, we are not done. Ongoing maintenance is critical in PCI compliance because it ensures your organization's security posture remains strong and aligned with the ever evolving threat landscape and PCI DSS requirements. So let's take a look at the next section, ongoing maintenance. Let's click on maintenance schedule. This tracks and manages all recurring maintenance tasks necessary to stay compliant with the PCI DSS standard. Instead of treating compliance as a once a year effort, we've broken it down into daily, weekly, quarterly, semi annual, annual, and as needed activities to ensure continuous security and readiness for assessment. Now we can click on Service Provider Review. This section of the app helps you manage and document the annual review of all third-party service providers to verify their PCI DSS compliance status, as required by PCI DSS Requirement 12.8. You can download this document at any time and use it as formal evidence during assessments to demonstrate compliance with 12.8 requirements, including maintaining a provider list, verifying compliance status, and assigning responsibility. Okay, let's look at policy review. This section is designed to help organizations document and manage annual reviews of all security policies, ensuring they remain current, relevant, and aligned with PCI DSS requirements. You can download this document at any time and use it as formal evidence during assessments to demonstrate compliance with the 12.1 requirement. The bell icon in the top navigation provides a real-time alert center designed to help you stay on top of all time-sensitive compliance tasks. It automatically tracks upcoming and overdue items tied to your ongoing maintenance schedule, service provider reviews, and policy reviews. In conclusion, by using the ongoing maintenance schedule, service provider review, and policy review tools, this app supports a proactive and continuous approach to PCI DSS compliance. The maintenance schedule ensures that key security tasks are performed and tracked consistently. Service provider reviews meet requirement 12.8 by documenting third-party compliance status and oversight. Policy reviews fulfill requirement 12.1 by keeping security policies current and aligned with PCI DSS. Together, these features create a clear, auditable process that helps maintain compliance year-round and reduces the risk of gaps or surprises during assessments. Last, but definitely not least, is our PCI DSS chatbot assistant is your on-demand compliance companion, available 24/7 to support your PCI journey. It's trained specifically on the PCI DSS standard and designed to make complex requirements more manageable. It explains PCI DSS requirements, generate draft documents, answer compliance questions, and speed up your assessments. Here we ask the chatbot to create a draft policy document for 3.1.1. Thank you for your time. Here's to smoother audits and stronger compliance by simplifying PCI DSS readiness.